Good evening. My name is Sergeant Burnett. This is Sergeant Grant Musa. This is our route planning on Operation Panther Claw. This is a unclassified brief. To start, we have our GTAO. It depicts our restricted, severely restricted terrain and unrestricted terrain as well. Our severely restricted is marked by the elevation change, especially in the mountains and the hilltops, along with waterways as well.
So here we have our primary and alternate route overlay. This is our physical product. This depicts our primary route in a solid line and our alternate route in a dotted line. So here you can see the brief overview of the primary route. We start at the SP right outside of the patrol base, and we continue down to the ORP sharp. Alternate route does the same thing, just a little more direct, however, experiences more elevation change, and it goes through a linear danger area that it must avoid. So here's our primary route exclusively. As you can see here, we start at the start point and we move through this mountain range. We move behind the mountain range so we can maintain cover and concealment from the enemy on this end of the mountain range. This route is longer, about 7 kilometers. It's gonna take us about 7 miles. However, we can move through this terrain pretty rapidly, especially on this mountain, because we will be following contour lines and trying to stay at exact same elevation. So here on the topo map, you can see the elevation a little better. So from SP to checkpoint 1, we'll be dead reckoning. We'll be dead reckoning down this mountain, and we should be approaching a linear danger area. However, we will have a very good view of this linear danger area, and as we reach it, we will have Alpha team get online and report to the squad leader. Alpha team will split into team 1 and team 2, pulling security, and we'll get through that linear danger area crossing. Moving from checkpoint 1 to checkpoint 2, we're going to be moving in column fire team wedge on bounding overwatch. As we approach SP checkpoint 1, we'll be in using the same movement technique as going through to checkpoint 2. This is because we anticipate enemy action. This is a high speed avenue of approach, so we need to be careful. Once we get to checkpoint 2, we can relax a little bit. We'll go into a traveling column. So from here, we're gonna be moving with the terrain elevation all the way to checkpoint 4. From checkpoint 2 to 3 is about 500 meters, and we'll just be dead reckoning and using 2 terrain features. So there'll be a river here following us on our left-hand side and the top of these mountains on our right-hand side. So it should be pretty easy to stay on track till checkpoint 3. The same goes from 3 to 4. There's a second river running through here, which should be our left-hand stop, and our right-hand stop is at crest of the mountain. So at checkpoint 4, we gotta lock in again as we're gonna be cresting this mountain from 4 to 5. It's only about 200 meters, but there's gonna be a lot of elevation change, and because we're losing our cover and concealment, especially at this very top of the mountain, we're gonna be in bounding overwatch at the top of the mountain and traveling overwatch after we get to checkpoint 5. So from 5 to 6, we'll be in traveling overwatch, and then at checkpoint 6, we'll continue in traveling overwatch as we're approaching our ORP. Checkpoint 6, we're just gonna dead reckon to the ORP as we did from 5 to 6. So once we get to our ORP, we're gonna have a really good view of the kill zone. As you can see here, this is a more detailed elevation as it's a 3D model. So dip here in elevation, traveling through the linear danger area, and then we're going up this mountain until checkpoint 2. This is probably the most intense part of the movement. When we get to checkpoint 2, we relax a little and start traveling all the way to checkpoint 4 behind the mountain. A lot of cover and concealment. Go move over the mountain in checkpoint 4 to checkpoint 5. Got to be careful here, traveling overwatch and bounding overwatch. From 5 to 6, as we're approaching the ORP, we're going to be a little more cautious and traveling overwatch. And once we get to our ORP, we'll do things from there. Here we go.
All right. For the alternate route, time data analysis. Let's check our primary route. Our primary route is 7 kilometers. Well, it takes us approximately 7 hours, correct? So our alternate route, although it's shorter, it's 5 kilometers, we'll be traveling most of the time in traveling Overwatch due to the exposure here, linear danger areas here, and also there will be a significant elevation change in checkpoints 7, 8, and it will be in checkpoints 7, 8, and 9 towards the ORP. Next slide, please. So for here, checkpoint 7 will be Dead Reckoning Southwest, 500 meters towards the linear stop before the linear danger area crossing here. From here on, we'll be establishing that linear danger area crossing, moving forward to checkpoint 8. From checkpoint 8, we'll be hand railing, moving northeast with the river on our right side. That river will be northeast to us, as you can see down here in this open area. We're still going to be in traveling Overwatch in column wedge formation due to a lot of exposure here. As you can see, there's a wide open area, and there's going to be a lot of exposure, not that much cover and concealment. Moving to checkpoint 8 to checkpoint 9, there's going to be a lot of elevation change here, and also not that much cover and concealment as well. So we'll be still maintaining the wedge formation and also moving and traveling Overwatch. Next slide, please. Now from checkpoint 9 to checkpoint 10 will be our most elevation change. It will approximately take us the longest here. Also, to add on top of that, checkpoint 9 has little to no cover and concealment due to it being in a valley. There's a hilltop here and there's a hilltop here, so there's a lot of exposure in the area, and we're going to be anticipating enemy, which is why it will take us the longest. This is our longest movement due to elevation change, and it's going to be 550 meter dead reckon up to the top of the hilltop. From the hilltop down to the ORP, it'll be elevation change going downhill. We're going to be in column fire team wedge and traveling Overwatch, anticipating enemy here to the ORP. Next slide, please. These are our sources that we used for the route overplan.
Pending any questions, this concludes our brief. Thank you.